I remember very well those weeks of hell, in that zone of icy horror, just me and my goldfish. An ex-Afghan war helicopter had flown me in, via Vorkuta and Norilsk, both heavily polluted mining towns, to Sredny on the Siberian coast, and then over 500 miles of semi-frozen ice floes to the North Pole. The journey had at first gone smoothly, and the floes had for the most part provided smooth, easy going through the months of March and April. I must reach the Siberian coast before early June, when the Arctic summer would loosen the ice pack and render any further travel highly dangerous. In the last week of May, I was camping some 20 miles north of the Russian coastline when all hell broke loose, and the ice floes all around me began to fragment in a jigsaw of 1,000 jagged pieces. I entered a bank of sea mist, a whiteout so dense I could hardly see my own boots. I slowed my pace to a cautious crawl, for I knew the cause of the fog must be open water nearby. It happened without a second's warning. One moment I was breathing hard with the effort of man-haul, my ski sticks pressed against the ice to provide thrust and balance, and the next I was underwater, shocked by the sudden immersion and threshing wildly to resurface. Within a minute or two of furious effort, I had hauled myself back onto solid ice beyond the porridge-like sugar sludge hole which had snared me. The sledge was jammed firm beneath several inches of thick sludge, and as I watched, an advancing raft of new ice crept over the semi-submerged sledge, which disappeared entirely. All that now lay between me and imminent death by hypothermia was my backpack. On a nearby flat pan of ice, I unlashed the backpack and erected the single tube-shaped bivvy shelter, which weighed a mere 3 pounds. I used my teeth to hold the handle on my cooker whilst applying my lighter, for one of my hands had already gone dead, as useless as a lump of meat. With 20 miles to the coastline, I could with luck reach a Siberian native village in 2 or 3 days, but I must set out as soon as my hands were functional. Items including my sat phone, GPS, firearm and charts had all been in the ready bag at the front of my sledge and were now at the bottom of the sea. The next 2 days were a nightmare, for the fog locked the ice pack firmly in its grip. I could only stumble blindly, with my eyes glued to my goldfish, the simple prismatic compass which I had borrowed from the British Army 30 years before. The name of its previous user, Sam Goldfish, was still printed on its metal tag. It had saved my life in the Omani desert back then, and did so now, for on the 3rd day after my sledge loss, I heard the hum of a skidoo, and followed the sound to the tundra beach of Ostrov Bolshevik, where a native Laptev fishing family took me in. I go nowhere wild these days without my prismatic. My GPS could always go on the blink, but not my goldfish.